Ooh, I'm mad. It isn't easy these days to rile me up over anything, but goddamn, I won't tolerate nonsense from an industry that managed to drag itself down to shit standards with now newly acquired balls to call out Larian for their extraterrestrial effort on Baldur's Gate 3 as something bad for the industry. Granted, they didn't really attack Larian, but mostly discussed about how player expectations will rise after Baldur's Gate 3. Of course, players should raise expectations. This discussion is a perfect time for me to open up about the AAA industry to talk about it broadly through the situation with Larian. What these devs fail to realize is that especially RPG gamers don't care as much for presentation standards, as that is just an additional thing that doesn't make or break a game, especially when it comes to RPGs. So their concerns are unwarranted because they are focusing on the wrong thing, and that is the budget. Larian is an independent studio, which means they can make their own rules. Instead of half-arsing it like most AAA industry, they decided to go balls deep and go all out with beloved Baldur's Gate license. To do the license and army of fans justice. What a horrible thing to do, right? How dare they? However, no matter the amount of cutscenes or amazing presentation, all RPGs fail or succeed by their writing and gameplay. Baldur's Gate 3 will as well. So instead of worrying about Baldur's Gate 3 presentation, worry about quality writing and gameplay in your own games. In those two aspects you can affect the game to a much greater degree for much less cost and with quality work match or surpass any high production games. One of these clowns mentioned accessibility of The Last of Us 2. Who gives a fuck about accessibility if they have destroyed such an impressive game presentation-wise with terrible writing and unnecessary politics that disconnected players from the nicely created world and story of the original? That is exactly why people turn their backs on Naughty Dog, not because of bad presentation and low production. In such story-driven action-adventures, presentation means much more than in RPG genre, and still game disappointed no matter how great the presentation was with good gameplay and level of brutality and gore I would love to see in many other games. On the other side you have two new God of Wars that have also amazing presentation, high quality production, great combat especially in Ragnarok, great story and devs that clearly have put so much effort into every little detail. They ditched open world and repetitive exploration, or at least downplayed it to a minimum, just for players to get a bit more gameplay and test themselves if they want to. Exploration gameplay was scratched pretty much in favor of more focus on combat and puzzles. And they did it brilliantly, showcasing how unnecessary bloated most of AAA industry is with filler content. Of course, these devs are jealous and afraid how Baldur's Gate 3 might showcase many weaknesses in their game design. So what? Stop worrying and do better work. I understand that suits behind publishing studios are not gamers and only care about profit. Least amount of work for most amount of profit. So some of these devs have hands tied behind their backs, which is a shame, but that doesn't mean they can't demand to be able to do more quality work. Thankfully, indie and AA industry is thriving with many brilliant, simple and incredibly creative games. Darkest Dungeon, Binding of Isaac, Midnight Fight Express, Hellblade and tons of other games that did not have hefty budget but managed to succeed due to their ingenuity. My point is there are ways for talented devs and writers to get their games across to masses through quality and not just PR. Let's look at AAA standards for last decade or so. Respect to devs such as Santa Monica Studios, Rockstar, CD Projekt Red for Witcher 3 and couple others that don't fall into the garbage pile of devs and publishers such as Ubisoft, EA, Activision, Blizzard, Warner Brothers, Take-Two and others. Let's look at the greatness these companies produce and how they generate sales and profit. Destiny, a 500 million budget atrocity of which 490 million went to PR. Couple went to Peter Dinklage that was later substituted due to poor voiceover work and the rest probably went into gameplay in the world. Ubisoft games that are almost all copy-paste AI generated filler content that serves no purpose but to waste time. Assassin's Creed and Far Cry's being at the forefront. Just watch Far Cry 2 versus modern Far Cry games comparison and you'll see how the series fell drastically quality-wise over time and repetitiveness took quality's place. Only game worth a damn from them is nowhere to be seen anymore, which is Beyond Good and Evil 2. I guess creating something unique with quality handcrafted content is not possible for them anymore. Activision with their Call of Duty spamming, where most money is spent to promote the game rather than to invest into creating something truly great. EA and Take-Two with for now almost a decade stagnant FIFA and NBA 2K series. Warner Brothers and their terribly repetitive and boring gameplay with Gotham Knights. Arkham series shits all over Gotham Knights while being much older. Blizzard with boring mediocrity called Diablo 4, where they did some things right but then screwed the game with terrible progression and content design. Are these AAA industry standards? If so, fuck those standards. They can all rot and die, and I wouldn't shed a goddamn tear for any of these franchises and companies behind them if they fucked off forever, as long as they are being developed by the same people. And then someone has fucking nerve to say, but players will expect more after Baldur's Gate 3. More than shit, you mean? Shame on us for having any semblance of quality expectations. Only thing these companies are innovating in are ways to monetize with nickel and diming policies and to market the game as much as possible. That is where brunt of their work goes to feed you PR bollocks so that eventually consumer caves in after seeing commercial for a game like Destiny on every goddamn corner in their lives 100 times a day. It has become a psychological pressure to buy these crappy products by imprinting the idea of a game in a consumer's brain so they cannot shake it off anymore. You know those cola commercials during the holidays? They have created so many commercials on every media platform for so many years that people now associate cola with Christmas. Gaming companies are doing the same thing. Why work on their games by innovating and offering incredible experiences when they can just use psychological pressure on uneducated and feeble-minded to fill out their coffers? Easy work, because they don't want quality and legacy. They want money. Just look at what has become acceptable in fighting games. Before, we were unlocking new characters by finishing the game in a special way or through special challenges. Now you get unbelievable stuff like Mortal Kombat 1 not even being released, and already they are selling packs with additional fighters. Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck that industry standard. With rise of AI technology, you can bet your ass even less work is gonna go in most of the established franchises that are under these companies. Repetition and RNG being key aspects that AI can work with easily. Most AAA industry has almost no innovation or ingenuity behind it anymore, as quality has dropped to such low levels that group of 10-year-olds could come up with same games or better. Nothing easier to program than repetition and RNG. I hope companies that still care about their games use AI for creating unique challenges that players would face, which could skyrocket the difficulty aspect of any game willing to utilize it properly. Imagining a game like Jagged Alliance 3 having enemies learn and adapt to tactics you are using over time to constantly diversify and evolve the challenge. This is type of repetition that would be phenomenal due to vastly different experiences one game could offer in that case. Just leave Larian be. We don't have many studios that are worth a damn in a never-dying RPG genre. Bethesda and BioWare suck for some time now. Starfield is not gonna be an RPG when it comes to character progression in terms of builds, and the new Dragon Age is gonna be mediocre at best. Obsidian and In Exile have disappeared. Where is Avowed? Only Western-style RPG studios I know of that are working on big RPGs are Owlcat and Larian. With RPGs being rare, a game like Baldur's Gate 3 and potential success that it could bring could open up doors for many other studios to bring their own RPG visions to life. AAA should be much better with the amount of resources available. Huge respect and thanks to AAA studios that put most of it into creating legacy-worthy experiences. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you soon, you disappearing bastards.